Welcome back to WorldSimSeries racing action, and welcome to the Porsche Street Cup from the streets of Barcelona. This is our only circuit, which I guess the fans of WorldSimSeries or racing worldwide have not yet seen. This is not a real venue. It is a real inspired venue, inspired by the real streets of Barcelona, but a race has never been held here, so completely new for all the drivers. No reference points, no laps to look at, no hot laps to look at. It's a completely new experience for everyone here on WorldSimSeries as we have passed the midway point of the season and into round 4 we go. In Cup Am, it's Milashauskas ahead of Balamicius and Varga. Your top 3 Pro-Am, it's Jofert, Kravchuk, and Sarma. The top 3 in that class. And Pro Plus, it's Guberevs, Mendelis, and Sendersky. The top 3 in that one. And Kashoni just 1 point behind Sendersky, but with a lot more weight on his car. Mendelis, 35 kilos on his. Guberevs got 30, but Guberevs leads the championship after 2 race wins in a row. He won at Long Beach last time out, and he won in Baku as well. Mount Panorama was taken by Mendelis. And as the qualifying session heats up, it's Guberevs on provisional pole, and I don't believe we have Mendelis here tonight, but we do have Lorinas, who joins me as always.
Oh, yep. Hello, everyone, and welcome to the 4th round already of a very nice championship. Wow, Guberevs guessing the barriers. He doesn't seem to have pressure here this afternoon. 7 tenths ahead of Senk. We don't have Mendelis, who I believe is in Italy at this moment. And drivers are struggling here on this racetrack. We've went through the standings. We've seen who is fighting whom. Now I'm interested if this championship has got a drop round. I believe the previous championship didn't have one. What about this one? Do we have a drop round?
We have to look. We have to look at the rules. We don't know the rules, but that's nothing new.
We have 6 rounds, and the info says that all 5 rounds are counted towards overall standing. So maybe that means that all 6 rounds count towards the overall standings of the drivers. That would mean Guberevs, with a nice finish here on this racetrack, should feel himself pretty comfortable in the championship with remaining 2 events after this one finishes. And I have to say, this championship seems to be panning out quite nicely. I was a little bit skeptical before having these Porsche Cup cars racing only around street circuits, surrounded by walls, but we have definitely nice participation, constantly at least 2 divisions taking place, and nice battles in the championship. I think we can say a big thanks to the categories of the series. We have a couple of divisions. We have 1 class, 1 car, but we have 3 categories for the drivers regarding their license. And even though they race the same cars, they have their own rivalry.
Fastest Sector 2 by Espina. This is his home circuit, so maybe, well, home as in from the same country, but maybe he just knows these streets inside out because he's a Cup Am car. Oh, and I thought qualifying session finished. No, this is a Cup Am car, so the lowest category, but fastest in Sector 2 and goes quicker. Doesn't improve in terms of position, but a 46.8. And he's well ahead of anybody else, so maybe some home knowledge. And finishes, well, 4 tenths off the lead, but still a very, very good result. Here's Ramak in the Pro-Am class.
Quite low in the standings, more than 3 seconds behind the fastest driver in this session. Ramach needs to find a little bit more pace, but as Gustas mentioned before, for most of the drivers, this is the first time driving on this circuit. It's a fictional racetrack on the streets of Barcelona, but there's a high chance that a lot of the drivers are not familiar with this track from earlier, and well, I think they had a couple of weeks to practice on these streets. And not everyone has time, especially when the weather outside is quite nice, even though it's already autumn. I think some of the drivers might have chosen to spend the time somewhere where it's a little bit more beautiful rather than sitting in front of your computer. That's why we might see these bigger differences from the drivers. Let's take a look at the qualifying session results now before we have the race start.
Yep, so qualifying is over, and Gubarevs takes another pole position ahead of Espina, Singh, and Sendersky. So Espina is a Cup AM car, then he's got 3 Pro cars following him. Then Dotartas takes pole position in the Pro Ams, and that's 6th place overall. Then we've got Molodan, Kovalevsky, Jofert, the next Pro-Am, then Sarma Venuti in Pro-Am, and the next Am car is in 12th place overall. Then Marco in 2nd position in Am, and, well, almost 1.5 seconds behind Espina in that Am car at the front of the field. I'm sure he'll be looking at a category upgrade at the end of this race. Maybe straight to Pro. How well he's qualified, but we get ready to go. It's a 5-kilometer circuit, but it's super duper fast. Incredibly high average speed as we get ready to go for half an hour. Round 4 of the Porsche Street Cup on WorldSimSeries is away, and a decent enough start for Gubarez as he holds the lead. Espina close by, but I don't think he'll have an opportunity down through the roundabout and into the first braking zone of the lap. As Espina holds on, Sendersky in P4. A few position switches further back. The circuit's super duper wide, so you might be seeing 3-4 wide action. Contact Jofert and Dotartas. So Pro-Am pole position goes around, and that will be, well, it's going to be a difficult race for him.
Yep, and Jofert was, well, basically a victim of the very wide part of the racetrack. Dotartas came a little bit too optimistic in that corner.
Espina's in the lead. Espina's in the lead. We missed this. Espina has overtaken Gubarevs and gone into the lead in an AM car. The closest AM is in P10 by Lavicius, and now Espina can try and control the pace from the front of the field. You don't have many heavy braking zones around this track, so it's not going to be easy to overtake, but it's all about commitment. Look at how fast it is. Oh, tap on the wall for sure on the left-hand side. We'll see if that damage has any effect for him throughout the race, but a little bit of front wash for sure with well, not much aero that these cars have, but some aero.
But he still is extending the lead. The cars have identical setups, meaning that only the driver is responsible for the pace of the car. Lost here a little bit at the very end of the first lap. Still half a second of the lead against the championship leader. Espina is a newcomer in this championship. I'm pretty sure if he'll be here to stay for the next round, he'll advance to at least Cup Pro M class.
I think he's going straight to Pro. I can't see him being a Pro-Am car. He's got damage on that left-hand side. I'm sure others will follow with some damage at least, but look at the high-speed nature of this circuit. It's going to be difficult for anybody to really make moves. So it's going to be all about Gubarevs waiting for maybe a mistake. Maybe towards the end of the lap, you saw that 90-degree left. That's a good overtaking spot throughout the rest of the lap. Oh, another touch of the wall, so maybe feeling the pressure just a little bit.
Yeah, begins to do those amateur mistakes, so one can say, and there is a nice chance for Gubarevs. And well, basically, Gubarevs has the mental advantage here. He can feel a little bit stronger, at least by well, feeling the track fitting between the walls. He knows that Espina can be pressurized and forced into mistakes, so still far from over in this race for Gubarevs, even though it might be a little bit more difficult to make an overtake than it was in previous racetracks. Oh, and there's an overtake attempt from Gubarevs. He's here, and remember the move that he made on Matas Mendelis 2 weeks ago at Long Beach Circuit. That happened in first or second lap, as the tires were slightly cold, so Gubarevs is not the driver who waits his opportunity. I think as soon as he sees one, he might go for one, but well, until Espina makes no mistakes, he can build out that gap. Look, even with those mistakes, he's only 0.04 of a second slower per one lap. We are still a couple of seconds off the pace that we had in the qualifying session, meaning that the pace will go up a bit further into the distance. The balance of the cars will change slightly. That might bring the edge for Gubarevs. But for now, he is second behind the amateur, the rookie driver of this championship, Paul Espina.
Yep, and well, okay, Oceanless goes to the lead, but I think that is a mistake.
Yep, that's because he's in the pit lane, so he had to tow the car into the pit lane, and the telemetry system now catches him as the race leader, but as soon as the cars will cross the line, things will go back to normal. And let's go through the remaining of the field. That's ASP66. What an interesting surname for a driver. He's currently 7th.
Numbers. He's got a few numbers in his name. That's quite unique. Wonder which country allows Sweden. I didn't know you could have numbers in your name.
Maybe Elon Musk is his relative. Elon Musk is famous for
another one of his sons.
Yeah, so you never know the reality, but he's quite close to Molodan, and well, he came straight into the Cup Pro Plus class and just made a big mistake.
It's like he rode the wall actually coming into the corner. That was pretty intense as the car was jumping around. Espina fastest lap of the race by just a 1/10 of a second, but he's holding on to the lead. Maybe the nerves have come down just a little bit, and now he can focus on leading this race.
Yep, I wonder if ASP66, I haven't seen him, but well, look, Espina came as a rookie into this championship, and he's an M driver. ASP66 came as a rookie. Oh no, actually he raced before. My mistake. He has 8 points in this championship. He stands currently 9th in the Pro Plus class. So he's not a newcomer, and looks like he's having quite a nice day so far here in the 4th round, as we have a bit of struggles with cameraman working here on this circuit, getting stuck a bit in a couple of frames, as Jofert is right on the tail of Kovalevsky. Remember, Jofert had a pretty decent start up until that contact with Dautartas, but he's now all over the back, and I think there's gonna be... Oh, SP66 just received a drive-through penalty for cutting the track, and he tried to slow down, but the cars...
The circuit.
Well, we have curbs here, and there are places, well, like this one. Did you see the curb there? You can go a little bit...
That was tight. So Jofert, remember, in that accident at the beginning of the race, was involved in with Dautartas, who's down in 23rd. So no real chance to go forward. And again, this shows how difficult it is to overtake here. It's such a high-speed circuit that the drivers are really struggling to make any kind of moves.
Espina sets another fastest lap time, 1 minute 47.5 drive-through penalty for Marco.
Very interesting that lap times are about a second slower than what they were doing in qualifying. So the drivers have backed out quite a lot, clearly taking a lot of risk in qualifying. Don't want to take as much risk here during the race. ASP 66 drive-through penalty taken. As on your screens, Venuti's, well, this was a battle for the Pro-Am lead as Jofrit leads the Pro-Am standings ahead of Venuti and Sarma in P3. Then there's Banavicius in 10th, and he's, well, I'm certain Espina will get upgraded, so I'm gonna say he's kind of leading the AM class.
Definitely in this round, Espina, well, he's leading the overall class. I don't see any chance for him to stay in the M class, as the championship rules have this kind of an option. Anyone who comes into the championship and, well, has enough of pace to get promoted to higher classes gets done so. So Bolavicius can feel himself quite comfortable. What about the second place, well, the third place of the M class? That's Azikeev. He's a couple of seconds behind Bolavicius now in 12th. So there's still quite a lot of chances for the podium places to swap. Espina 46.8. He's already 9/10 ahead of Gubarevs, and he's not holding back. He's currently 4/10 slower than the qualifying winning lap time. I think Gubarev set a 1 minute 46.4 in the qualifying session. Espina set a 1:46.8 in the quali. Did he just do a faster lap time? Yep, he did a slightly faster lap time than he managed to achieve in the qualifying session. So maybe he didn't have a lot of practice before the race. And is just adapting here.
A penalty, or is that a penalty taken? Could be drive-through taken. So
I think that Marco was the Marco penalty taken.
Yep, so penalties, quite a few of them. I guess these curbs are giving drivers penalties for cutting the course. But Espina looking more and more comfortable in the lead of this race. And what we were saying, a second slower than qualifying. He's now matched his qualifying lap time, 46.8. Gubarevs has improved as well, but not as much. So we'll see if there's another bigger improvement from Espina this lap, as he keeps on extending the gap sideways from Jofert. Big risk. And, well, continues to hold on to that position, but feeling more pressure from Venuti behind. It looked for a second that Jofert might get away. Clearly, he hasn't. Another 46.8 from Espina,
Jofert.
another 40.
Oh.
Down into the pits, I'm guessing drive-through.
Yep, so we've missed the notification, I believe, on our screens that Jofert received a drive-through penalty. So maybe there are track limits not only on the inside of the corners, but here on the outside. Sometimes we have those exit curbings that have a bigger runoff areas. Yeah, look how Sarma cut the corner. But it looks like that works. Marco receives another penalty for cutting.
Yep, so clearly. Thank you. This is the first event where we've actually seen that many penalties.
And Marco just received a drive-through for speeding in the pit lane. So penalty after penalty after penalty for Marco. And, well, he should be very, very far down the order if he's P23.
Very annoyed with himself after getting a penalty while serving a penalty. That's the worst thing to do.
Yep, and looking at the map, we are gaining on a lapped car.
Yep, I don't think that will be much of an issue, to be honest. I think that car will just jump out the way. That's in P23 at the moment. We'll see where that car is once it crosses the line. That's Orjuna, so I think he'll just get out of the way. And Heisenberg coming back out on track in P23 now, so 22 goes to Jonas, but here's Espina, and he's clearly holding the lead and holding it well. Another big gain on that last lap now, 2 seconds at the front of the field. Well, if he stays that would be pretty impressive. Yep, 7/10 gained last lap, so clearly a mistake from Gubarevs, but this just gives Espina a chance to relax maybe a little bit and get into his rhythm. He doesn't want to get a drive-through penalty for some track limits. You can see he's leaving a bit of space on the curbs. That's the smart way to go about this, as he continues to lead in the 46s. So that qualifying pace from Gubarevs, he hasn't been able to translate it into race pace. What's interesting is this is quite a similar situation to what we had at Long Beach, but it was actually Gubarevs who got ahead of Mendeles and ran away from him. Mendeles didn't have an answer this time. Gubarevs does not have an answer. Still, we're just about to cross halfway into this race. We'll see if there are any changes throughout the rest of it. It's just about not making a mistake now for Espina, but it looks like he's in a pretty good rhythm and just ticking off the laps, ticking off the corners. Half of the race still to go from Barcelona.
Yeah, but it seems it's really fantastic for Espina now. I wonder what Gubarevs is thinking. Oh, Espina another fastest lap time, so he's now definitely faster than he was in the qualifying session, and having well, considering that he looks to be running a little bit more careful and still managing to show that amazing pace. Promises, well, suggests to us that the next time he comes, he might be an Pro Plus driver if he decides to race in this championship. But I wonder what Gubarevs is now thinking. He sees that he's leading the Pro Plus class, but what's the rule with the points? When a driver gets transferred to the higher class, are his points converted to the higher class points of the previous race, or?
Yep. I believe they get recalculated with the new points. I believe that's how it works, because that's how it looks like for Gubarevs, who got upgraded from Pro-Am to Pro.
Yep, so I mean...
but he won't get the BOP weight, which is a big plus for Espina.
Yep, so
if he does another round, obviously he's not done half of the championship, so I don't think he's gunning for the championship title, but P3 in the series, I think that's still doable. So for Gubarevs, honestly, I think he just has to run this race to the end, and because he can't catch up.
I mean, Gubarevs, he will finish second now, first in the Pro Plus class, but will he stay the winner of this round in the Pro Plus class, or if Espina gets promoted to the Pro Plus?
He'd go down to second.
Oh, so that would be the second position?
It doesn't really... I mean, it matters, but it doesn't matter as much with Mendeles not here for this round. And Espina so far back in the standings, obviously hasn't done half of the season. I don't think Gubarevs really has to worry here. I think he can just run his own race. There's not much else for him to do here, really. If he tries to take very big risks, he might end up making a mistake, and that would be a big issue for him. A no score or a very low score would then swing that battle back towards Mendeles.
Okay, I've got some news from the rulebook. So actually we have one drop round. So it still would count for Gubarevs because 5 best round results count towards the overall standings, meaning that the absence of Mendeles doesn't play much in the championship at this point. The difference between Gubarevs and Mendeles is 4 points, so Gubarevs would definitely be willing a win here.
Yep, but I don't see that as as a realistic possibility. Even if he would turn up the pace and would start running quicker than Espina, I mean, he'd have to be running half a second a lap quicker almost to catch up and then be able to overtake. It's one thing to catch up. It looks so difficult to overtake around the track that really, I mean, you'd have to have a huge pace delta. Espina has actually lost some time this lap, so Cooper has been caught up from Espina at the front of the field. But it's only down to 2.3, so...
Singh looks to be slowing down. Look at Venuti. He had a 1 second gap between himself and Sarma. Now the gap went down to 6 tenths, and it looks like Venuti found himself a little bit stuck behind Singh. He doesn't need to overtake Singh. That wouldn't change anything in the Pro-M class. He would still be the leader. But Sarma is getting closer, and that puts Venuti in a slightly dangerous situation. Very... through the curbing went Venuti. I thought he clipped the barrier for a second. I think it was just a visual misinterpretation. I think there's a left car here now in front of Singh. Yep.
Looks like it, and he loses some time. This is a good opportunity for Venuti. Joford drive through for corner cutting. But here comes Venuti, a defense from Singh. This is, by the way, not for position. It is for overall position, but it's not for Pro-Am position. The problem for Venuti is he has to overtake because he's got Sarma, which is for Pro-Am position right behind him. Somebody else drive through taken. But Venuti, he's been catching up. And he's putting pressure on Singh. That was a good opportunity in that lap traffic. Look at how high the speed is around this circuit. 4th and 5th gear corners. You're pretty much just lifting off or even going flat out through them. So really no opportunities for overtaking, no opportunities for mistakes either. Look at how fast this section is. Still in 4th gear. We're riding from the back of the car down to 3rd for the first time.
Singh went sideways and into the wall. Singh, Sarma, that's into the wall.
Sarma's into the wall, and he's going to lose a position to Friese. But Friese, I think Friese is the one who got a penalty. I'm not sure.
I think he was the one who had penalties.
I thought I saw either drive-through taken or drive-through received, but maybe somebody else. More sliding around, so he has overheated his tires. Has to calm it down, or he'll be overtaken by Balavicius as well behind. This gives a bit of breathing space for Venuti. He doesn't need to attack Singh now, and he's dropped off the back of Singh as well, so makes the smart choice. Doesn't really need to move forward or backward.
You know what? Sorry to interrupt you. It was Friese who received the drive-through penalty, but it was another Friese. I think we have, maybe some relatives racing here on this circuit. We have Joelle Friese and we've got Emmanuel Friese. So Joelle is 8th overall and 2nd in the Pro-Am. And here we have Emanuele Friese, who was the one that received those drive-through penalties. He's currently 18th overall. Yep, and that was what got us slightly confused while reading the names. But Friese promoted himself into P2 in the M class. Yep, and well, Venuti can calm himself down now. 8 minutes to go. That means it's about 4 to 5 laps until we cross the finish line. No one's behind him, and he just can allow himself now to cruise behind Singh. Avoid those mistakes, and he's still opening up the gap against Friese, Balavicius, and ASP66. Look, ASP66, after receiving that drive-through penalty, is back into P10. So it looks like it is quite a difficult racetrack here for most of the drivers to stay off the wall, something we haven't seen throughout the championship in the previous 3 rounds. meaning that, well, Joffert is back into the pit lane again for, I believe, another drive-through penalty. But the street circuits that we had before, they didn't seem to be so difficult as this one. Maybe it's due to the lack of practice laps. That's a fictional racetrack, and I'm not sure, and I don't believe that we had a lot of drivers familiar with this circuit before this championship.
Unless they played Grid 2. They would have been familiar with the track.
Or maybe they had this racetrack on AC before. I don't know for what occasion, but it's a low chance.
For fun. By the way, the lead gap, it's stabilized. Maybe Gubarev's just losing a tiny bit of time, but actually he gained a 10th this last lap, so it's stabilized as they actually both of them have dropped pace, so down to the 47 highs for both of the drivers in front, first and second, and it's stabilized at about the 2-second mark. So Espina has dropped the pace, he's gotten into a more consistent rhythm, but Gubarev's has as well, so no changes there at the front. Sendersky 13 seconds back from Gubarev, so 15 seconds back from the lead. Shows how dominant these two guys at the front are. And, well, we were saying, Gubarev is losing time. Compared to Sendersky, that's nothing. Sendersky's losing a second a lap.
Look at the gap. Gap started to disappear. I believe it's been, maybe he clipped the barriers. He just lost 6 tenths in this... well, which sector is it? In the middle sector. He had 2.2 seconds gap. It's now down to 1.6, so maybe it's still not over. And remember, Espina made those mistakes at the beginning of this race, especially when Gubarev's was a little bit closer to his rear wing. Maybe he feels the pressure, and that might force him into some mistakes. Gap is growing up again. So it looks like he makes a mistake, then finds himself, gets himself together, and he's able to be a bit faster again than Gubarev's. But, well, towards the end of this race, it looks like Gubarev's has still a couple of chances here, even though it should be, and it would be very difficult for an overtake. But I'd say it's still not lost.
No, I don't think it's lost. I just think, yeah, probably will be very, very difficult to make a difference here.
Yep, so definitely Espina made a mistake in the first sector on the last lap. He was faster in the second sector and lost a bit again in the third. So small chances of hope remain for Gubarev's in this round, though I think he's quite calm, and I think he would be quite satisfied with the second position. Maybe he's also not certain what's going to happen with Espina and with the final results of this race. So he just, well, he doesn't see his main rival Matas Mendelis racing here on these virtual Barcelona street circuit corners. So he's just cruising around, and well, best he can hope is for some mistakes of Espina. Focuses to not make any mistakes, and well, that's more than enough for him actually.
Yep. I mean, if he would be looking at to win AM, the next AM car is 45 seconds behind Espina. That's a pretty crazy margin. That's Balavicius. He's running in second in class. Well, we can probably say he's running first in class, because there's no way Espina is staying as an AM driver, and he's, well, Espina has been doing an incredible job for a pro driver, as, well, Gubarev's was dominant for 2 rounds in a row. Nobody could touch him at all, and now Espina comes in. Sure, he doesn't have the BOP weight, but is putting on one hell of a performance. Loses a bit of time again. The gap down to 1.5, but it looks like he's just managing up there in the front. Next time by it will be the final lap. So white flag next time by, and will be not long to go. They're actually catching up to lap traffic, and I think some of that lap traffic might not even be lap traffic that has received a penalty. Venuti, you're seeing him on the left-hand side of your screen. He is at 0.2 of a second back, and he's trying to maybe make a move on Singh again. He doesn't need to do it. It's not that important because it's not for a position. These are two cars in different categories, a pro car and a pro-am car. So Venuti, 0.5 of a second back. Gubarevs has lost a bit of time again, so the gap is kind of ebbing and flowing. It goes up in one section of the track, and then it goes down in another, so maybe where one of the drivers feels a bit more comfortable. And here is Venuti on your screens. This is who? The 19th spot. Is this for position? I believe it is.
It is for 5th AM position.
As Espina starts the final lap of the race, he's actually behind this pair. No, he's got a few more cars in traffic in front, but then it's that pair of cars as he goes around the track. Maybe we can even ride on board with him for this final lap of the race.
I don't think we can. Nope. We have some sort of issues, and
we wanted to ride on board, and we've now actually lost everything. As Dotartas gets a penalty, a drive-through penalty for something. And here we go, back to live pictures. Here is Espina as he leads the race. Maybe no on board, but just look at how he's using up every inch of this track, going right up to the walls. But at the same time, managing pace at the front of the field. He's held that 2-second gap throughout this whole race and has never really looked under pressure except for the first few laps of the race. And well, we maybe expected a Gubarev's washout by 0.4 of a second a lap as he was gaining in qualifying. But this race has showed completely different. Just 2 corners to go as Espina gets through the braking zone. He's got a few lapped cars ahead. I don't think they'll move out. They'll keep racing as Espina will take the checkered flag. He's 1.5 ahead of Gubarevs. Espina wins the race ahead of Gubarevs, and that is, wow, what a performance. And I think Gubarevs has to take his hat off for that. Sendersky is going to hold on against Molodan to finish P3 overall. Sendersky takes a podium, and a brilliant podium in terms of just keeping his nose clean. Look at that car, no damage on it at all. Then it's Molodan, Kovalevsky, Singh, Venuti, and yep, Venuti has dropped back, so we can see what happened there. And Frisa, ASP66, and somebody else. I didn't see who else that was. Strauskas has actually gotten in front of Balavic, and this is P10, and first in the AM class. Well, second in the AM class, but we'll call it first.
I wonder how Milashauskas got in front of Balevicius.
Yep, we didn't see. I thought Balevicius was quite calm at the front there. So, yep, lost some time there as everybody continues to come through to finish the race. Well, remember, we had those lapped cars right in front of the overall race leader. And, yep, had to... Some of them... I don't think actually anybody moved out of the way completely, as Espina finished 1.3 ahead of the of Gubarevs. He actually backed out a lot on that last lap, lost quite a bit of time, but that was due to that traffic in front. This is Lausch, and he's, I believe, nope, he's got one more car behind him to finish this race, but these are our final few runners. We'll take the checkered flag to finish the Porsche Street Cup on World Sim Series. This was round 4 of the championship, and quite a lot of action on track in terms of incidents. Difficult to overtake round here. And speaking of difficult to overtake, next time out we'll be heading to Macau. And well, there it's even more difficult to overtake. And then we'll be heading on to Monaco. But your final race results, provisional race results, it's Espina ahead of Gubarevs, Sendersky, Molodan, Kovalevsky. Pro-Am is won by Venuti ahead of Frisa, and the next Pro-Am car is Ausschneider in 12th place overall. Am was won by Espina, but we'll call him Lashalska as the winner of Am ahead of Balavicius, and then Azikev in 16th overall. Actually, let's see. So the M class, the difference was 53 seconds first to second. That's how dominant Espina was, and obviously overall winner. So that was your racing action from Barcelona. In 2 weeks' time, exactly 2 weeks' time, we'll be out in Macau for round 5 of the championship. And for the final round, again, it's Monaco. But thank you, everybody, for watching, and good night.